In a reality that defies belief, LeBron James is now in his 8th year with the Lakers, an astonishing run that has already doubled his Miami tenure. Even more staggering, he's only 3 seasons away from matching the time he spent with the Cleveland Cavaliers, the hometown franchise that drafted him, and where he played a combined 11 years across 2 separate stints. But the fact remains, this is year 8 of the Kings' reign in LA, and that reign appears to be crumbling, all thanks to a bombshell report from ESPN.com, authored by staff writer Baxter Holmes. This must-read investigation dissects the toxic infighting between the Buss siblings, especially the top 3 led by Jeanie herself. It was a family war so vicious it led to the historic $10 billion sale of the franchise to Mark Walter just this past summer. But even after the Buss family ceded control, Jeanie held on to her governorship of the Los Angeles Lakers, a position she maintains as this explosive report from Holmes ignites the internet.com. And believe me, this piece is a game changer, casting LeBron in a harsh light and exposing Jeanie Buss's true feelings about him from the beginning. Remember, he first suited up for the 2018-2019 NBA season. The article reveals that Jeanie Buss absolutely hated the idea that LeBron James was the organization's savior. That's a narrative, of course, that LeBron himself carefully crafted. Yes, they won a title in his 2nd season, but what history conveniently forgets is that the Lakers were a complete train wreck during the Kings' first year in Los Angeles. That was the season the team stumbled to a miserable 35-47 finish. LeBron was famously put on ice before the season was over, once it was clear a playoff spot was a fantasy. Then came his 2nd year, and his agent and close confidant, Rich Paul of Klutch Sports, began his power play, and we'll get back to that. This is when Rich Paul brought Anthony Davis into the fold as a new client. At the time, AD was seen as a consensus top 5 talent, top 10 at the very least when not injured, an issue that plagued him even back in New Orleans. But almost immediately after AD signed with Rich Paul, he abruptly manufactured a trade demand out of New Orleans. He didn't just want a new team. His demand was specific, a trade to the LA Lakers, LeBron's team. And what do you know? The moment AD arrived in Hollywood, the franchise's trajectory changed, resulting in a championship during LeBron's 2nd year. So it becomes clear why Jeanie might have bristled at the LeBron the Savior storyline. If we're being honest, Anthony Davis had a stronger claim to that title. After all, it was AD who was the team's leading scorer narrowly, but clearly during that championship campaign through both the regular season and the playoffs. He also topped the team in win shares across both of those runs. He did all that while being the anchor of an elite defense, finishing as the runner-up for Defensive Player of the Year that season. Because of all that, I'm convinced Davis is criminally underrated for his role in that championship. Although, you could make the case that LeBron James and Rich Paul were the master puppeteers who got him there. So maybe LeBron gets the credit for orchestrating the whole thing through his proxy, Rich Paul, to force AD out of New Orleans and into LA. Which brings us to the second massive bomb dropped in Baxter Holmes' ESPN piece. Jeanie Buss believed Rich Paul and Klutch Sports had an iron grip on the Lakers, exerting relentless pressure throughout LeBron's entire tenure. And in a shock to absolutely no one, this report, straight from Jeanie Buss, validates all the rumors and suspicions we've had for years. The truth is that Klutch had a toxic level of control and power over the franchise. And why wouldn't they? It's a blatant conflict of interest. Forget LeBron's official connection to Klutch Sports. It's common knowledge he's the one pulling the strings from behind the curtain. It's the league's worst-kept secret that LeBron is Klutch's lead recruiter and its de facto spokesman. And for a moment, the Lakers reap the benefits. I just laid out how LeBron and Rich Paul masterminded the Anthony Davis trade, the exact move that secured them the championship in the 2020 Disney bubble. That ring was LeBron's 4th, and it's still the last one he's won. But for every benefit the Lakers got from Klutch's influence in that single instance, they've paid the price for the rest of LeBron's 8-year stint. The article highlights the Russell Westbrook trade as the most catastrophic example of this. Jeanie Buss was certain that LeBron and his entire entourage dodged all responsibility for the Westbrook catastrophe. Word is, she held LeBron solely accountable, viewing the disastrous push for Russell Westbrook as his scheme entirely. That trade, of course, blew up in their faces, and in a bitter twist, LeBron pivoted, painting Russ as the fall guy and orchestrating his exit. And this isn't just speculation. Russell Westbrook was telling people this same story behind closed doors all summer. He exposed how two-faced LeBron James had been, which, let's be honest, validates the suspicions many of us have had for a long time. Now, the ugly truth is finally leaking. This is the inevitable result, LeBron, when you overstay your welcome. The atmosphere inside the organization reportedly became so poisonous that Jeanie Buss seriously considered trading LeBron James back in 2022, even batting around the concept of sending him across the hall to the Clippers. The article goes on to claim that Jeanie Buss had major reservations about giving LeBron his latest extension, ultimately caving to avoid a PR nightmare. Look, I'm not defending Jeanie Buss as some perfect owner, nor am I saying any Buss family member besides the legendary Dr. Jeanie Buss has truly benefited the franchise. But this report is devastating, precisely because Jeanie Buss has been at the helm for the whole 8-year duration of LeBron James's Laker tenure. For years, the narrative was that their close personal relationship was the anchor keeping him in Los Angeles. It has now become blindingly obvious that this was a complete fabrication and apparently has been for quite some time. The breaking point in the relationship between LeBron and Jeanie, according to this piece, came down to one particular incident. Jeanie Buss was reportedly appalled by LeBron's stunning absence of gratitude after the team used a draft pick on his clearly unqualified son, Bronny. Don't forget, he put immense pressure on the front office to select Bronny, who remains a player completely out of his depth in the NBA. And just to note, this is now his second year on the Lakers roster. Yet, Jeanie Buss saw that draft pick as a massive favor to LeBron, a favor he met with nothing but sheer, unadulterated entitlement. Again, for anyone who's been watching closely, none of this is exactly breaking news. Ultimately, the undeniable conclusion from this article is that LeBron James's colossal ego has created a rift with Lakers ownership and methodically dismantled the franchise during his 8-year stay. Unbelievable. Was any of it worth it, Jeanie in the front office? Was it worth torching your father's entire legacy just to welcome this manipulator into your organization for a single hollow, undeserved title, a championship secured in a bizarre bubble at Disney World after the league was shut down for 3 months by a worldwide health crisis? One championship, that's all the self-proclaimed greatest of all time has to show for 8 years, and time is running out. Across that whole span, the Lakers have compiled a regular season record of only 330 wins against 267 losses, which is a win rate of approximately 55%. That averages out to just 45 wins a season over the course of LeBron's entire tenure in Los Angeles. And he managed this mediocrity while playing alongside a top 10 talent in the league, Anthony Davis, for the majority of that time. Even after adding another superstar to the mix, their performance was essentially break-even basketball during that period. In all those years, they've advanced past the first round of the playoffs a mere 2 times. Only twice. That's it. To put it another way, in the 7 completed seasons LeBron has had with the Lakers, the team was eliminated without a single playoff series victory in 5 of them. And this all unfolded as his massive ego was actively gutting the franchise from the inside out. Let me sum it up with one word. Yikes. A huge yikes for the Lakers and an even bigger one for LeBron James. He had a chance to leave with his reputation intact years ago, but instead, he's just stumbling through his final years. Frantically chasing stats and empty milestones to pursue a ghost from Chicago he was never truly in a position to catch. And with every move, he falls further and further behind because the floodgates have opened. Everything we've been discussing, hinting at, and theorizing about for years is finally being exposed. A piece like this latest one does not see print without the unspoken consent and assistance of the Lakers organization. And that points directly to Jeanie Buss, who, let's not forget, remains the controlling owner of this team. So what does that tell me? It sends a clear message that the Lakers are absolutely fed up and finished with him, and they are desperate to offload him at the earliest opportunity, preferably before the rapidly approaching trade deadline. That deadline is February 5th at 3 p.m. Today is January 21st. We are roughly 3 weeks away from that deadline. This article could very well be the first step in paving the way for a trade. When I look around the league, what's the big story this week? Jimmy Butler is out for the season with a torn ACL. Meanwhile, You've got Steph Curry playing out of his mind, earning a starting spot in this year's All-Star game, but he's turning 38 this March, and this could be one of his last real opportunities to win another ring. A team in the Warriors' position is desperate for a major shakeup, particularly now that a key star like Butler is no longer an option for their competitors. On top of that, if the whispers are true, the Golden State Warriors have been exploring a potential move for LeBron for the last couple of years. The Laker franchise effectively just sacrificed LeBron James in this explosive ESPN report from Baxter Holmes. Is this it? The ultimate backstab that finally drives the king from his throne in the City of Angels forever? For the last 2 seasons, it's felt like he's been the only force holding that jersey on his own back. Is this the straw that breaks the camel's back the moment he finally greenlights a trade, triggering a league-altering earthquake for the 2nd straight year? Everyone remembers the seismic shock of last year when Anthony Davis was shipped out of LA in the blockbuster deal for Luka Doncic. But could this year's bombshell be LeBron James himself, leaving LA to team up with Steph Curry? The tension is off the charts. The offseason rumor mill is burning hotter than ever, a firestorm only the NBA can create. Smash that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss a single second of the chaos as it unfolds. I'll see you in the next video.